we thought in this time that the court won't stop the prayer. You know, we have a prayer in many cities all around Canada, and we thought that it was a normal thing. We had this since the beginning of the cities. For us, it was the tradition, it was our culture. We are so sad today, but we have to accept it without at one time for a time of silence, but they didn't accept it. So we have to stop it.
The robed gods reshaping Canada in their own image. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. The Supreme Court has ruled that it's unconstitutional for city council meetings to have a prayer before they start. Well, that's pretty funny when you think about what's actually in the Constitution, specifically the charter that the judges use to ban prayer at council meetings. But I'll get into that in a moment. Let me just first say that I'm not one for demanding that city council meetings, provincial legislatures, or parliament open with a prayer. I don't think anyone should be forced or coerced into praying, and if someone isn't into that for whatever reason, then it does no good to demand that they pray. What's the point there? What's the point in doing that? But what's the point of demanding that people that want to pray not pray, that they're forbidden from doing it? That's the effect of this ruling. If anyone at the meeting wants to pray, they can't at a public city event. Now, this is a strange concept for Canadian jurisprudence. It's in fact an American importation of a bad American ruling, and we've seen where that led. High school football coaches that dare to pray before games losing their jobs or facing disciplinary action. In one case, a coach was fired for not telling his players to stop praying. Is that where we'll end up with this newfound separation of church and state in Canada? As you'll see in a moment, we don't have that kind of separation of church and state, not the kind many people think we do. We may not have an official religion, but we don't have a separation either. But the Supreme Court thinks that we do have neutrality on this issue. The word neutrality shows up 119 times in this decision, even though the court admits they're kind of making up the idea of state neutrality. You've heard plenty of reports that the court banned a prayer because it was a Catholic prayer. Not really. They don't want any prayer, not even non-denominational, neutral prayers of any kind. From the ruling, let me quote here for you. The prayer recited by the municipal council in breach of the state's duty of neutrality resulted in a distinction, exclusion, and preference based on religion. That is based on S's sincere atheism, which in combination with the circumstances in which the prayer was recited, turned the meeting into a preferential space for people with theistic beliefs, meaning you can't even just prefer people that believe in God at all. Now, time and again, they say the state has a duty to be neutral on religion and therefore can't have any type of prayer. But a little later in the decision, they admit this is only based on the opinions of, well, those judges and other judges. Paragraph 71 reads, "Neither the Quebec Charter nor the Canadian Charter expressly imposes a duty of religious neutrality on the state. The duty results from an evolving interpretation of freedom of conscience and religion." An evolving interpretation. Translation, we're making it up as we go. We like it that way, and we make the rules, not the elected officials. Now, you can like the outcome of this ruling, you can be against prayer in public life and all of that, but still be bothered by this ruling and how they get there. Judges interpret the law, but that's a strange interpretation of freedom of religion. Now, is Canada a religiously neutral state, as the court would have you believe? Absolutely not. The opening of the charter that these judges use to strike down prayer at council meetings actually says, "Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law," and then goes on to detail the fundamental freedoms. How did we get that into the charter? It was proclaimed by Queen Elizabeth II in 1982. By the way, she's Canada's head of state and also head of the Anglican Church. She wears a crown topped with a cross. That happens to be a symbol of Christianity. Her image is on our coins, along with the phrase DG Regina. That means Queen by the grace of God. One of her other titles is Defensor Fide, which means Defender of the Faith. Her crown's on our national coat of arms, which means our coat of arms has a cross on it. Several, actually, especially when you add up the St. George's Cross, St. Andrew's Cross, and St. Patrick's Cross, all on the Union Jack, which is also part of our coat of arms. And the coat of arms also has a Bible verse in it, Amare usque ad mare, from sea to sea. That's taken from Psalm 72. Then there's the provincial flags. Did you know that Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, and British Columbia all have crosses on their flags? Our national anthem has the words, "God keep our land glorious and free" in it. Now, some will argue, well, that was just a recent addition, but check out the French words. Translated into English, here they are. "O Canada, land of our forefathers, thy brow is wreathed with a glorious garland of flowers. As is thy arm ready to wield the sword, so also is it ready to carry the cross. Thy history is an epic of the most brilliant exploits. Thy valor, steeped in faith, will protect our homes and our rights, will protect our homes and our rights." Faith in the cross, defending our home and rights. Not anymore. Not in today's Canada. See, all of these symbols are symbols of the old Canada, the Canada that the Supremes and the Laurentian elite would like to do away with. That's what this ruling is really all about. Like I said, I don't want to force anyone, I don't want to coerce anyone into praying, but neither do I want to stop those that want to pray voluntarily from doing so. But these guys, they do, because praying of any kind doesn't reflect their view of Canada.